Okay, we're back. It looks like the choke shaft is missing. Most likely, or not choke lever, excuse me. Most likely it's at the other shop in the bead blaster. Probably got mixed in with other stuff, I didn't see it. So I can't put this all in until I have that because I have to compress the spring with a lever. So I can't put this part in here right now. So that kind of limits what you can do on that side. But we can do a couple other things. One is we got to put the your low speed lever in here. So that's held in here with this little shoulder bolt. So it requires a little bit of grease, not much. Right here on the shaft. Okay, put it over there where you can see it. I put it in from both sides to make sure I get well lubed with grease. That looks good. Okay, that goes right up into here. There it goes. Okay, now we have our low speed needle spring and our low spring seat. Needs to go in, and then we have our needle right here. Now the needle I haven't tightened the screw up over here yet. I want to show you how it went together. So basically we have a needle, thumb screw, whatever you want to call it here. We got a little small spring right there, and then we got the screw that holds it all together. So first thing, you put the needle in there, then you put the spring on top of the needle, then you take the screw with a lock and you tighten it all up. You want to tighten this up fairly tight, so I'm going to take this and hold in a vise for a minute, real quickly. Tighten with that. I have a pair of soft jaws on my vise so I don't do any damage. So I held it right here and I tightened the screw up real tight. So now your needle's right here. It's spring loaded, so it moves around, but it'll stay where you put it because it doesn't rattle as tight. If this bounces up at all, you can't use it because your fuel mixture will be wrong because the taper will be constantly bouncing up and down. So you can't have that. Okay, now this here goes through your lever over here we just put on. And then the spring and the seat go right underneath here. Now you got two ways of putting this in. You do it the hard way or the easy way. This is the hard way. Usually I put this in as an assembly, then I put the lever on the body, but either way it goes on both directions. Why would I want to do anything the easy way? Okay, we gotta make sure the spring gets up in there where it belongs. Right now it is not going in there where it belongs. There we go. So now that goes, there we can see it, collapses up and down like that. It keeps pressure on the choke shaft, which should be right here. I'll go ahead and put that in there just for now for mock-up. So now that's on there. So that keeps the choke where it belongs. One of the things that does it. Okay, now you take the adjustment screw and you go ahead and screw it on down in there. This one's going in pretty tight. Probably has something to do with that stiff-ass ball. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of lubricant. Put a little bit right on the threads right here. Now, I did not check to make sure this fit on there because it came out of here. So you would think it would go back in. But maybe not. my screwdriver on the end of it here, where you're at. The grease definitely seems to be helping a little bit. Plus I got more leverage with the screwdriver. Okay. Go ahead and get this bolt all the way in there. Looks like it's a 3/8 head. You want to make sure you do not break this bolt off. It's not a very strong bolt, so I've broken more than one. So you got to make sure you got enough tension to hold it, but not too much. Now after it's all tightened down, you want to make sure this lever is free and still goes up and down. If the shoulder locks, if this lever locks up on the shoulder of the bolt, then you got to figure out what the problem is. And sometimes I have to grind down or file down the lever in width so that the bolt will work. So you got to make sure it all works freely after it's on there. Okay. So this here goes here. Normally goes straight all the way up. Still pretty hard to turn because we're all the way bottomed out. Okay, its normal position is all the way up, like that. So what you do is you go until you bottom out, which is getting pretty stiff about there. And you come out about 3.5 to 4 turns. If you have 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 3 3/4 is always a good number. But you can go 4, doesn't really matter. Now I'll have to double check this once we get the whole carb together because it matters where the screw is at, where it's up on this eccentric cam here. But that's how you adjust your low speed jet. Alright, so that's on there. I'll take the tension off this right now with a shaft. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on the float because I can't do the choke until I find that lever. So I'll have to do that later today. Now your float bowl gasket here is made for a big twin, which has a float bowl that goes over here. This one here is a side valve float. It hangs off the side of the carburetor over here like that, so you don't need to have the gasket there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the edge of the gasket away. And I'll use my nice dull pocket knife. You wonder why these knives get dull all the time? It's because you're cutting crap like this on a steel bench. This doesn't have to be perfect, so I just kind of do it by hand. If you have a pair of scissors, it works a little easier. If you cut on a piece of wood, it works easier. That's alright, it's a dull knife already, so I'll make it a little duller. Okay, now we have a custom 45 gasket now, or a side valve gasket, so it fits in there like it's supposed to. Okay, now we go to our float bowl, so we got to assemble this up. So this takes your needle and seat here, like this. Of course it doesn't fit, figures. See, aftermarket parts don't work very well. So let me get a different gasket here.